Welcome to WP-Tonic, episode 46, The Redo. Jonathan, welcome to WP-Tonic. Today's story is all about you. So you get your chance. I know you started in England. So tell me how you got from England to the United States. And what did you do back in England too?
I run a dry cleaning business. I had multiple locations. I ran that for about 20 years, Bill. And my wife was American. She wanted to move back to North America, which we did.
Well, how long ago did you get married? You ran it for 20 years. How long were you in the dry cleaning business and married? When did you get married?
We got married around 2005.
2005. So you've been in the business for a while in dry cleaning?
About 20 years.
Oh, wow. And then they got married. Okay. So that changes your life, I guess, when you get married.
Yeah, and she made it pretty clear she wanted to go back home, North America. So we moved back, and I wanted to change a career. So I did a 2-year degree, associate degree in web design and development when we got here, Bill.
Okay. And you already had some experience in web design in the UK, didn't you, while you were running?
Yeah, I was just dabbling parts,
Okay. So you got here and you didn't go to work right away. You went to school, right?
Yeah, I wanted to go in. I wanted to give a change from from dry cleaning. I've been doing it for 20 years.
So you had some money saved up. You had the ability to go back to school.
Yeah.
Very good. So now you get back to school, got excited. Now you're trying to start a business. Tell us about starting that business.
It was pretty difficult. Thank God I found WordPress around 2009 because I got out of school about 2008 and things weren't exactly great in this area. There was a lot of businesses closing. There was a lot of established web design developers struggling as well because their clientele was all closing, Bill. So it wasn't easy for the first couple of years. I mostly tried to concentrate on getting local business, which was a mistake, Bill. If I had known what I know now, I wouldn't have attempted that. And but for the first 2.5 years, 3 years, I did a fair bit of work, but it wasn't easy getting it.
You said you wouldn't have attempted that. What, starting the business?
Being focused on local business.
What have you focused on? You had the degree, you studied WordPress. You know, a lot of people in this show are going to wonder, how did you learn WordPress? Did you start watching YouTube or what'd you do?
I started like everybody else does, Bill. They get themes from Theme Forest. They start knocking them around. They start getting sucked into WordPress. It's an endless round of learning. But it initially seems pretty easy, but as the more things you want to do, I forgot the guy's name. He did the Purple Cow. And
Seth Godin.
He did this thing called he called it the bell curve, the dip. That was it. The dip.
He wrote a book called The Dip. I haven't read that yet. I've got to read it.
And
I've read Purple Cow.
And the dip explains WordPress really well. You start learning quick. You think it's easy, and then suddenly you hit a brick wall, and it gets a lot more difficult, and you just got to struggle through it. And the more you want to do, the bigger the projects, the more. I'm pretty good on it. I'm pretty good on the front end templates, and anything to do with the function file. I don't really want to become a developer that develops plugins, really complicated plugins. I'm a kind of hybrid. I'm a website designer, developer. I like dealing with the front end.
Yep. And you like putting together what you've done in developing the social media. We have this podcast, of course, and you also have done an amazing job putting together WP-Tonic and those people around it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the consequences of not being a hardcore developer. You and also the kind of clientele I'm dealing with, which are between 1 to 20 people firms. And they, not always, but they've got smaller budgets than large organisations. But I prefer doing work with them because you get paid quicker, hopefully, and you're not sucked into a 6-1-year cycle as you would be with these larger companies. And that's the size of the majority of companies in Northern Nevada. But like I said to you, if I had had my time, I would have focused much more on my online. I would have done podcasting a lot earlier. I would have, done more blogging. I would have joined the WordPress community. I didn't join that until about 3 or 4 years. If I had joined that straight away, but it was a bit of a small community here. I would have been better off moving to a major city that had a really strong WordPress community. It's so invaluable, isn't it, Bill?
No, I agree with what you said. If you're starting a business, and I love Reno, first of all, I love it here, the mountains. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to fight it through. But Orange County, any big city, you're going to have so much access to face-to-face, to especially the meetups and the WordPress meetups, and to figure out what's going on and finding that help you need to get going. And that said, we should be able to do this online, but it still takes a lot of work.
Yeah, but you've learned the hard way, but you've done it. You think you've done it slowly, but you've actually done it a lot quicker than me. You realise that you've got to concentrate a lot more online.
Yep.
And develop your products and sell them to audience online. And I didn't really realise that, there was a big, a lot of people hire people in WordPress if you build up a reputation for the community and your online activities. And I was woefully negligent on that because I was trying to learn Word. The college degree was fine. There was a lot. They didn't recognise my British education, so I had to do all the English and I had to do a bit of algebra, and that took me months to get my head back into it. And the business math, I took the easy business math, but I had to do all these prerequisites. But to get back, I wish I'd gone into WordPress a lot earlier.
Okay, that's bottom line. Go to WordPress. Good to go back to school. You'll understand more about the United States. School is where you network, you get to meet people. So forget about all the basics. So driving on, as I said, I know that you ended up getting divorced, and that doesn't help a business at all.
Well, I've been done the 2-year degree, and I was in my 3rd year trying to build the business, and I was just starting to get some traction, Bill. I had done 2 of my largest clients. They were both around $16,000 jobs, and they were successfully being finished. And then, unfortunately, my wife said she wanted a divorce, Bill, and it was a bit of a shock. And for over a year, everything just stopped, Bill.
Yeah, it's got to be tough. I can imagine it's tough enough just having the support of a family and running a business, but to get divorced is tough. But you're probably on the computer all the time. You're dealing with clients, which is difficult. If you've never dealt with the hybrid client before, it's going to be tough.
Well, I've always been in retailing and always dealt about digital services, web design. It's a totally different beast. It's a totally different game. And my experiences in retailing and in running a small business was helpful. I really don't know somebody straight out of college who's got absolutely no, or people that had worked for other people that's got no experience. It must be even a bigger jump. I really don't know how to cope with it, Bill.
Yeah, it's tough. So anyway, people listen to WordPress. So let's get through the divorce, everything else. You're here in Reno. What are you doing now? I know the last couple of years you've got a SaaS product going, which is great. Tell me what you've learned from developing the SaaS product and when did you start developing? And by the way, for those listeners out there, SaaS is software as a service, and your product is called MailRite. You've developed it. It's out there. It's well past the point where it can actually be used. You've gone through some beta testing, but now you're the tough part where you have to go out and market it. So just tell us about that journey in the SaaS.
I've learned it's twice as difficult as an e-commerce website. It's the most difficult thing I've ever done.
Well, how long ago did you start developing that product? And what was the thought? What made you start doing it?
Well, I've been interested in email marketing for quite a while, and I wanted to do something in it. But when you got giants like MailChimp and iWeber, and there's half a dozen very large
e-commerce
email service providers, and MailChimp is the big gorilla. Sorry for the pun. It was difficult. I was interested in it, but I thought you've got to find something that's got a bit of a niche, a bit of an edge. And I'd helped a lot of people set up their MailChimp templates, or if they were using like Campaign Monitor or whatever they chose. I'd done a lot of setting up, and I had seen how it really died a death, the newsletter, sending it out on a regular basis. They got into this, I call it the circle of 8 hamster wheel, where they got really busy, so the newsletter never got sent out. When it got quiet, they started sending stuff out. They tended to send out too much because they got in a panic. They wanted to get clients.
They were emailing out too much.
There was no, it's got to be done systematically every month at the same time, the same quality.
A newsletter could be once a week, once a day, or once a month.
But it's got to be the same quality, the same. And most small to medium businesses do not do that, Bill. They get into this, like what I've just said, this circle of 8 hamster wheel, where when they get quiet, they get into a panic because the cash flow's running out, and they just bombard a ton of stuff, and it tends to be really poor quality, really badly written, either miles too long. It's normally miles too long, basically, and a lot of it's canned. You see a lot of it, don't you, Bill? And people are just being sent a lot of email now, and a lot of that stuff, either gets marked as spam or it just doesn't get opened, and that really affects how your newsletter, how it's treated by the actual service that you're using. People don't realise that if you get a low opening rate, the next time you send something out, it will affect how effectively it gets into people's inboxes.
Well said. Well said. So you didn't tell me, how long ago did you start this product?
Oh, it's been around 18 months.
Oh, I didn't know it that long. It's a long time.
Yeah, because I started it and then I had to stop because I got busy on my service work. And then it got more complicated than I thought, and then I had to hire. Some people who then I had to let go because they started messing me around. And then I found some other developers, and they've become a fantastic resource.
I know you're very happy with your development team.
Yeah,
and you use them for other things. So there's been a lot. You've learned a lot.
Kim Doyle from the WordPress chick helped me with some people that she knew. And she really went out of her way to help me. Bless you, Kim. I owe you one. She's a great lady, and she really helped me out, Bill. She's just typical of the podcasting community, the WordPress podcasting. They're a tight-knit group, but they're very generous.
Yeah, you haven't gone to one of our big conventions or meetups yet.
No.
Someday you will. You'll see how small podcasters really are. But the
WordPress podcast is even a smaller subworld.
It sure is. It's an interesting niche. We've really talked to some of the key people.
What have I learned, General? That's the bit. It's twice as difficult. It's the most difficult thing I tried. Everything takes a lot longer. There was a lot of, you helped out with giving me advice on the interface as a working on the back end, making it as simple as possible. That's taken over 7 months to really try and make the interface as simple as possible, hasn't it, Bill?
Right. And now the hard part is the marketing.
And now I've got even harder part. I totally failed on really market research and building up I should have been starting building up audience and finding out about the target industry over 18 months ago. And I left it. I did some 3 months of research, but I didn't really build any relationship in the target industry. It's just crazy, Bill. And,
If you would have a podcast or something related where you're building up your list.
Yeah, it's just craziness how I've done things. But until about a year ago, I didn't even know it was technically capable of. Would I be able to? Because I've done it all in WordPress and PHP. And until about a year ago, I wasn't too sure it was possible that I would get something that would work. But I didn't do any research. I didn't build up an audience. On reflection, there's a ton of stuff that I didn't. There's some excellent podcasts, and there's some Facebook groups and around startup businesses, and I should have joined those, and I should have sought more advice. There's about 2 groups that give excellent advice to startups.
The pain.
And I never did the outreach. So I kind of did do the same thing as I did with WordPress. I tried to do it all on my own. And if I'd done a bit more outreach and looked for the resources that are out there, and a lot of it's freely available, I don't think I would have, it's too late now. I've invested the money, not an enormous amount, but it's
a lot. You've put a lot. Time and money.
For a private individual, I've put in about 20 to 25,000.
Plus a ton of hours.
Ton of hours which are not being billable.
It's not over yet.
So I'm about 25,000 in, and a
lot of hours.
Yeah.
Instead of out getting clientele doing what you're doing, you've been developing this. But we do things like that. We're entrepreneurs. We take risks. We do all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, I've got to.
But you have to make money too.
Yeah, this has been the problem. Yeah, I've made some fundamental mistakes.
Well, don't beat up yourself too bad, because I think 90% of all entrepreneurs go through the same thing, or maybe 95, like you have, unless they're independently wealthy.
Yeah,
well, think about your dry cleaning business. You started, your dad was a dry cleaner, right? That's one of his businesses. You knew the business. You had probably not decent, but you started out with smaller cash flow, but you were within your means, and you built up, right? And you expanded. You had investors. I know that. And you built up a company. You made some money. You put it away. You went a different direction. Now you just have to take what you've learned and get that cash flow trickling in. Yeah, and then keep on going.
It's just been difficult. I've had a divorce, and then when I got out of college, it was very difficult here. But the main mistake there is that I should have immersed myself in the WordPress community much more. Gone to WordCamps. Gone to California, gone to all the WordCamps and all the meetups I could have gone to outside the area, and I did slightly the same thing with my startup. There's a lot of resources out there that tell you, find a way to test the market before you start investing a lot of money. Try and find out about your test industry. Try and find out what their problems. I've been lucky because with your help, we've spoken to a few people in the industry, and in a strange way, I think I have got a product that, fortunately, because of the industry, it's probably the right product at the right moment. But none of that's been planned. I've just been a bit. But even though I'm still in the beta testing, I'm more optimistic because I actually think there's actually a need there. But I think if you've got a product and you find there's not really a need, I think you're finished.
Basically, you're focusing on the real estate industry initially, even though it can be used in different areas. And I know real estate, you focused into other industries, but then you came back to real estate.
Yeah, it was, but initially it was, and it still will be it's still a really good product for a serious real estate agent. But also it's become obvious. I thought that the industry was totally dominated by franchise brokers, but actually most serious brokers now are looking to go their own way.
Independently, yes.
And my products will help them do that. So it's quite opportune that the industry is going the right way for me. It could have been the opposite because the brokerage is going to be longer to build up, but it will be much more stable.
That's a good point, because the franchises, which are slowly getting smaller, and a lot of independents are going out there. And one of the reasons is because of the internet, because of communications. For example, there's a small not small, medium-sized, about 60 people here in Reno. And I thought their answer was excellent. They have a tech guy who's been there for about 12 years. And they said, why should we pay this commission or 6 or 7% to this franchise when they have like 3 people who are marketers and a couple tech people, and then they're running our website? I can hire one tech person. He can be my marketer too, focus everybody in, help out my agents. Now I have that 6 or 7%. I can focus into marketing.
Yeah, totally.
Myself.
And I think most serious brokers are realizing that, and I think I can clearly see the death of the franchise.
Yeah, but let me tell you what they said, and because when we've had a brokerage, we've had Better Homes and Gardens, and which became GMAC, and we went independent with our brokerage in California. He said something that's really important. I think you need to grasp this, and everyone else out there, this concept. You said the timing was right. The real estate agents still are out there selling and marketing, and very few, unless they have teams, small teams, need your product. If you have a team and like somebody doing tech in the team, helping the team out, that's your target right there. Or your brokerage, your brokerage broker setting it up and getting it going for their agents. That's your target right there. The broker and the small team. You can run a small team, and that's where we're talking about. If we can find somebody, it doesn't have to be a broker. It could be a team under a broker who's running this little cell of people.
Yeah, I think though, any agent that's got any IT, we've reduced we've reduced the system to a few clicks, and a lot of it runs automatically after the initial setup.
Yeah.
And to get the other bits are more to get the most value out of my system needs you to log in a bit more. But if you just want to set it up, you can set it up to semi-automatic. Yep. You won't get the full value from
like my wife, and I'm really happy because it's putting stuff onto her Facebook sites for her brokerages, two sites.
And a lot of the automatic stuff will be done around, when all three products are totally integrated into the central core of the system. You get all three parts you can put on semi-automatic for $69 a month, or the first two bits for $49.99. So it's not exactly breaking the bank, is it?
Or if you have a small brokerage, you could get a brokerage rate.
Yeah, so
have all your agents going out there, and you can help contribute to the material.
Yeah, that's right. But, for a single, for what it will do for them for $69 a month is quite a bit.
Right.
Quite a bit,
Okay, so what's it doing for them?
It will send out a message to their big list of people that they need to keep themselves in front of, and you can set it, and it will just select one of those messages and send it out to a list that you import semi-automatically, or you can select one of the message stories that we supply and choose a time. And then it will just do it. There's no more. And then at the beginning of the month, you get a social media scheduling calendar system, and it's all populated with real estate stories that will go to Facebook and Twitter. And you can add to it, manipulate it, or just leave it to set it to go out. And it's all at the first of the month. It's putting your outreach on steroids, and then to encourage a better reputation online through Yelp and the others. We got a magnificent, fantastic.
Okay, we know about your SaaS product and what the challenges it had and what's over the horizon. We've got a lot of work to do. But I'm going to get back onto you to finish up.
Yeah,
we're going to finish up a little bit. We got to find more about Jonathan. We know you like to ski, right?
Yeah.
I know you ski. Yeah. We know you like to work on WordPress.
Yep.
And we know you like to go to Starbucks. Or any coffee shop.
I'm like Brian from Studio Press, and I'm always in a Starbucks.
You got me liking Starbucks and Swills and all these little shops. I enjoy it. Yeah. And it used to be, I thought, in a great place, which was the Reno Collective, which I've been there too.
It's a fantastic place. But as any startup, they really helped out for the initial time. But they're running a business, and they said, Jonathan, we can't keep supporting you. and they were fair about. They had given me a lot of support.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm just going to have to suspend my membership because I'm a startup. I'm in a bit of a this is.
It's a co-working group place, beautiful down on Arlington 100. You see the river. It's a great place in downtown. Yeah, it's on the river.
And they're a great group. Then the owners are all developers and they're great people.
Some really, really nice people.
And, if I start making some reasonable money from this, I will rejoin.
It's a club. Yeah. But, we also go to Swills.
Yeah, I go to all these.
Which is 1MC on Wednesdays, 1 million cups out of sponsors, some of the things that we do for fun.
Yeah, but I think the main thing is that if you really want to get into this game, is find a really good WordPress meetup group, and if you haven't got one, think about starting one. But that's a good sign if you're in an area that's got a strong group that's getting 50, 60, 70 people turn up. That's a good sign that there's a lot of work out there. So that's a good sign to start off with. And then go to the WordPress camps. Get yourself out there. We live in an age of the internet, but you can't beat meeting people face to face to build up relationships, and really get involved in WordPress.org and listen to podcasts.
Listen to WP-Tonic. Listen to all of them.
Yeah, listen to all of them.
By the way, Jonathan, I really enjoy that podcast. I've learned so much from doing WP-Tonic.
I think you really, and I enjoy you being I know we have our moments, but I think lately we've been getting on much better.
When we have the roundtable, sometimes I just sit there and listen, hardly talk. Because we've got these people coming in from all over the country who are really experts in WordPress.
And we've got a fantastic guests.
And we have amazing guests.
We have some amazing guests.
I've used those guests. One last story. Here's a war story. I was playing around with Facebook, which, you can never become an expert in everything. But Facebook is powerful. And I have all sorts of groups and pages and all this stuff. And on Podcaster's Home, which is my recent project, I was inviting people into the site, and there's 2 little buttons there. And it was really weird. I didn't realize you can do this by subscribe people into the site as opposed to inviting them. And out of all the people I accidentally subscribed to the site, one guy came back really nasty. I won't say who he is. But then I emailed him, we chatted back and forth, and I sent John Loomer, and he's a Facebook expert apparently. And I said, hey, do you know a John Loomer? He said, oh, you know John Loomer. I sent him the clip, and also now he's my friend. Because of John Loomer. John Loomer, for those who don't know, is probably one of the best Facebook experts in the country. And we've interviewed him.
Yeah, I think he was. I would say that to quantify that, I think he's the leading expert in paid Facebook advertisement. When you
right, I understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Experts in a specific niche. He's well known.
In the area of paid Facebook advertisement, he is seen as the leader. And if you go to his website, it's not aimed at the beginner or low intermediate. It's aimed at the higher intermediate. Or
better than going to his website, go to WP-Tonic
and see the interviews
and listen to this interview. Then go to his website.
Yeah,
let's see. I interview, I think 39 and 40.
They're great interviews.
Part 1 and 2, yeah. So go to 49 and 30.
I think he enjoyed the interview.
See, you go to our website first. Then, by the way, out there, folks, tell people to go to your website or your podcast, then go to the other guys.
Yeah, it's a great interview, and I think we had fun, and he enjoyed it. I sensed he enjoyed it, didn't he?
Okay, Jonathan, so we're doing good. We're hanging in there. So I want to know this. We're going to do something in Reno someday. We're going to have some kind of meetup here. It'll be like the WordPress Communications New Media Meetup. Well,
that's what our podcast, and and we're going to stick with this. It's always going to be heavily WordPress, but there's other parts to running a WordPress. It's, we're both business people, so it's about WordPress, but it's also about how you use WordPress to run a business, get people to the website, all the other add-ons.
That's right. That's what we're really coming into. But I was going to say, if you're here in Reno on a Wednesday, 99% of the time you and I are down at 1MC, 1 Million Cups. That's at Swills, WSILLS, Coffee and Wine. Swills Coffee and Wine. I should know the street off of Lakeview. Google it.
Yeah.
Or go to a website. We should have a link. But usually find us Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock there. And then we run a little meetup afterward for the folks who want to just talk for a few minutes or ask a couple questions. So if you want to meet us and you're in Reno, come by Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a great idea because we normally are around there.
Normally. I think we're going to go be at Tahoe this Wednesday, looking at houses.
Yeah, I'm trying to,
there's a big, just so people know.
But in a strange way, the MailRite back end, I've got about 11, 12 users. It all seems to work. And I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by the conversations I had with brokers. I am, going to have to concentrate on my WordPress but a lot of the development work.
Well, Jonathan, we've gone 30 minutes and I have to edit this.
Yeah, shall we end it, Bill? Because I think we can.
One last question. What's your favorite food?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips. That
English.
That figures the English. I know it's good cod, right?
Real nice, right. If you go to the coast like Cornwall, Falmouth, and you get a fresh bit of cod, from a real fryer, craftsman, it's freshly fried, nice butter, and you get the really chunky chips, and it's been fried in decent somebody who knows what they're doing, and you get the big chunky chips, and they're not soggy, they're crisp, but they're chunky. Last time I had that was in Falmouth, and there were seagulls everywhere, and it was like a scene out of a Hitchcock, The Birds, and they were just enormous, these seagulls. They've been feeding on fish and chips for a long time, and they were like looking at you they're literally going to attack you and eat it.
That's a nice thought to finish up the show. Attack seagulls from the birds.
Yeah, they were big. They were big seagulls. They were.
All right, Jonathan, thank you for this interview. Having the right website can be a game changer. It's your platform, and with your website hosting, marketing, and design all being critical parts of the equation, it can be a daunting task. But there's good news. You don't have to spend months learning WordPress, list building, SEO, and podcasting. Get up and running fast. We have the solution. Join Podcasters Home today, and for a limited time, we will set up your website hosting, list builder, and create your custom podcast website for half the cost. Go to podcastershome.com/21 or call me at 775-233-8065 until close of business 21 June 2015. Get 50% off membership and our website services. When you have your website and podcast up and running and you're ready to take it to the next level, as well as reduce the stress of managing your WordPress sites, let Jonathan and his team do all the hard work. Go to WP-Tonic.com/services to see how Jonathan's programs can save you hours each month and keep your WordPress site optimized and up and running smoothly.